and reach an audience 10 times bigger. And you can do this too. And I want to say that this is for a specific type of person. This is for somebody, like this is for a person that can do the following. The first, have a 60-minute conversation with another person. If you can do this, you can take a next step. If you cannot have a 60-minute conversation with another person, and I'm not kidding, some people can't have a real thorough 60-minute conversation with another person, then this isn't for you. But if you can talk and have a back and forth with another person, this is something that you can do. The second thing, the second type of person that this is for, someone that can spend $5 to $10 a day on making sure their target market sees them, hears them, and is worth watching. $5 to $10 a day. So you have to emotionally and financially commit to $150 to $300 a month to make sure that your target market sees you, hears you, and is ultimately worth watching you. If it's not, if you can't do that, then this probably won't happen. The third thing, this is for somebody that wants to be successful and is willing to do the doing part. And this is actually the third and most powerful thing. There's a difference between a desire and an interest. If somebody's interested in doing a thing, I'm interested in talking about a house, I'm interested in talking about a car, I'm interested in talking about Facebook ads stuff. That's different than a desire. An interest is like, I'm going to dip my toe in the pool. I don't know, maybe we'll figure it out. But a desire is, I desire that house, I desire that car, I desire to be successful. You have to want and ultimately desire to be successful with this, and ultimately you're willing to do the doing part. I don't want people to be interested in going to the gym. I want people desiring the results and the life of a six-pack. I don't want people interested in eating healthy. I want people who desire to live longer. That's the difference. So this third sentence is ultimately, you have to desire everything that we're talking about and the impact of everything we're talking about. This won't work if you're just interested. I mean, you can watch a lunch and learn, but you're not going to get your intended results if you're just interested in. And ultimately, everything that I've been doing with this strategy is something that you guys have been experiencing time and time again. And this strategy, by the way, like, it just really works. Like the bar is so low when it comes to modern day economy, when it comes to online advertising, when it comes to online relationships. Like it's so easy to just ghost and disappear that when you run into somebody who doesn't actively try to screw you, like, it's just mind blowing, like absolutely mind blowing. And if you are willing to be that person where you're not actively trying to screw somebody, not trying to ghost, you can really be massively successful in this space and in this industry. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna outline all the different ways a real life person reads, consumes, and is interested, reads, consumes, and becomes interested in working with you. And you being a non-flighty, non-ghosty, I'm not going to try to screw you type person. So let's just say in the middle, this is a real life person that is interested and has a desire. They're reading about you, they're consuming information. They might be interested in having an honest, dollar-driven relationship with you. Here's all the different ways somebody can consume the message that you're trying to send out. And there's a lot, and it's insane. And this is really a function of like modern day times and modern day economies. Like when you think like way back in the day, when like, I don't know, like Ben Franklin, right? That was the dude that really industrialized the printing press, I think, right? Like what was that, 1700s? When they did the printing press, right? You had a newspaper. That was it. Like if you just nailed being in the newspaper, like that was where everybody was looking. And it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, all right, so we put an article in the newspaper and our job is done. Newspapers still exist today. Some target clients and some target customers still value this. So I'm going to put it on here, but this is really part of my effort to show you that like the transformation that's happened over the past 200 years, more so in the past 5, 10, or even 15 years. So there was a newspaper and then there became television. And way back in the day, TV was just one channel that was only on for 2 or 3 hours a day, and everybody watched it. So you had newspaper and TV. So if you're on newspaper in the 1700s, you were everywhere. If you want newspaper and TV in the 1950s, you were everywhere. It was great, right? But then there was radio, and I know my timeline is weird, but now we got newspaper, TV, and radio. So somebody who wants to communicate an honest, dollar-driven relationship with a real-life person, and if somebody wants to read and consume what you're doing and how you're doing it, now you got to buy TV, radio, newspaper, which is honestly a lot. Like you could spend your whole life as a provider of information, as a person that's trying to outreach and market and advertise, just doing one of these three, and now you've got three to pick, right? And if you're not on all three, you're probably losing the fight. But that's okay, no big deal, because then they invented billboards, which is like a big box of frustration, because now billboards are another way, and it's another reminder. And if you're not there, then like you're already losing the fight. So at first it was 1, then it was 2, 3, now it's 4, right? But that's okay, because from like the 1700s to the 1950s, you really only had 4. I mean, maybe if you want to say newspaper, magazine, you had 5, right? And I know that you can make an argument that like newspaper had like 10 different offshoots, magazine 10 different offshoots. Like let's just pretend that's not an option. But in the 80s, it was like newspaper, TV, magazine, radio, billboard. Okay, 5, right? My limited time, my limited budget, 5. And by the way, you can't just take a radio ad and put it in newspaper. You can't take newspaper and put it on TV. It's just different, but okay. Like we can do it. And then the internet came around and ruined everything. Like literally ruined everything, because now you've got blogs, and now you've got SEO, and now you've got Facebook, and now you've got Facebook ads, and then there's Instagram, and then there's TikTok, which is a thing now. I just started experiencing that. That's really strange. And then there's WhatsApp, and then there's what's it called? Banner ads. And then it goes on and on and on. Like they're everywhere. There's like a million of them now. And it's insane. Like there's no way to keep up with like all of this, because way back in the day, you could say, all right, well, at least we'll do like a magazine ad and a TV ad and a radio ad, but there's no way to handle the now 50 different ways somebody could read and consume and become interested in working with you. It's nearly impossible, right? I didn't even mention LinkedIn. I didn't even mention YouTube. Like there are just so effing many, and there's a new one every day. And sometimes you're wrong. Like remember when Periscope was a thing? That's out. Remember when Vine was a thing? That's out. Remember when Twitter was a thing? That's dying. Remember like how organic on Facebook, your newsfeed? That's gone now. It's all groups. Like it's almost impossible to actively keep up with the new fangled thing. I tried this. It didn't work, because I was trying to do the following. I was trying to make a message that was unique to every single communication channel. Got burnt out, got destroyed, not able to keep up. It's not going to happen. And somebody in the comments says, like, you forgot direct mail. Exactly. Like, there's just so many. I mean, you can even do voicemail drops, text message campaigns. Like, oh my God, like, this is insane. And what I was trying to do was make a message that was unique to every single communication channel. And you know what? It was a recipe for failure. It was not gonna happen. Maybe if I focused on one, maybe if I focused on two, but like, this is not gonna happen. And the rules change all the time. Like YouTube 3 years ago was about like cool motivational videos, and now it's all about clips of whatever TV show you watched on Netflix. Like, oh my God, right? This is insane. And so it was a recipe for failure. My attention was split. It wasn't going to happen. And this was about 2 years ago. Where it was like, I was having like my first mini like realization epiphany moment. Well, I ended up realizing not only was a recipe for failure, but this isn't or I should say that this is a common problem that other people have already figured out. Like the answer is out there. The answer just wasn't in me. And so what I did is I looked at companies like Apple. Like Apple really does what's called omni-channel, which is like they do everything. They say, screw it, we're going to do everything. We're going to do direct mail, and we're going to do stores, and we're going to do retail, and we're going to do channel marketing. That's when you advertise to the people that sell your stuff on your behalf. So they'll advertise on behalf of and for Best Buy. You can see the sponsored ads, and they're going to do bus stops. They're going to do billboards. They're going to do Instagram. They're going to do. Apple decided to do everything. What was interesting when Apple decided to do everything, and whether it's like Apple or any other billion-dollar company, when a billion-dollar company decides to do everything, they didn't go custom. They didn't recreate every single ad and every single channel and every single communication. They didn't go custom. They went leveraged. You'll notice that the ad on the billboards of US 1 are pictures highlighting someone that took a picture with their iPhone. It's the same ad that they talk about in their stores. And when they shoot their keynote, they take clips of that and advertise it on Spotify. When they get somebody saying this is the best iPhone ever, they just take a screenshot and put it on Facebook. Instead of going custom, they went leveraged. And I just realized I forgot Snapchat as well, right? They didn't go custom, they went leveraged. That's what I wanted to do. Because when you go leveraged, you can shoot one thing, use it 5, 10, or even 100 times. And I want to really pull back my secrets here and show you guys that it's possible. Here's what I've been doing to leverage. This is something that you guys can do again and again and again. And this is something that we just talked about in my elite program. This is something that people are charging anywhere between $30,000 and $75,000 to walk somebody through the process of. This is literally a $30,000 to $75,000 strategy. And you guys can do it here. In my own iteration of this, everything starts with a 60-minute interview. And you guys have been seeing me do my 60-minute interviews. I do them every Thursday. We just did one with Jeff Lopez. We did one with Robert Vico. We did one with Jimmy Rutowski. We did one with Christine, Steph. Just a 60-minute interview. That's it. Now, every single person here is doing these 60-minute interviews, but they aren't doing them leveraged. They are simply talking for 60 minutes. They aren't recording them. They aren't phrasing correctly. They aren't having bullet points. They're just kind of talking. And what's interesting is Apple, when they shoot their stuff, they don't just talk. When billion-dollar companies do their marketing, they don't just say, let's do it and see what happens. They have a structure and thought process behind it, because if they do that, they can chop it up and have a good time. So what I've been doing is I chop up my 60-minute interview. And you guys have been seeing me do this time and time again. And if anyone here has followed me on Instagram, you can see me leveraging. Look, these are all my 60-minute interviews. I'm just using them again and again and again. This is the same thing that you guys can do. You should be doing an interview with your clients, an interview with the people that you serve, an interview with people in your industry. I don't care what you're doing or what you're talking about. You're going to have some good bullet points. But I've been doing this time and time and time again. I am leveraging these 60-minute interviews. On average, each 60-minute interview gets me 5 to 6 clips all the way through. All I'm doing is taking this 5 to 6 minute clip, this 60-minute interview, and turning it 5 to 6 letterbox videos. That's it. Now, with the 60-minute interview, I've done the following. The first, I've connected with someone smarter than me. I've learned directly from them. Let's do this correctly. Come on. I've taken care of my group, just like this right here. And I can now take this 60-minute interview and upload it to YouTube. Cool. Right? Oh, by the way, I can also upload it to my Facebook page. And these 5 to 6 letterbox videos, I can give them to my interviewee as a thank you. I can use this to attract more interviewees. I can then run them as ads. I have leveraged a 60-minute conversation where we're just talking shop. You guys have seen it. And now I've taken care of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different assets and different ways and different channels. Pretty darn fast. I can take this 60-minute interview and run them as an ad on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. I can even, by the way, export the audio and use it as a podcast. There you go. And if you guys want to have even more fun, you can do the following. Oh, let me not show that. Hold on. You can do the following. You can pay someone to take the interviews and, well, you can turn it into a book. Just like this. Imagine if you interviewed one dentist every single week for 10 weeks in a row, and all you did was learn directly from them, record it, you made them famous, you got famous, and now you know what you can do? You can pay someone, or even do it yourself, and turn these interviews into a book. I didn't spend a year trying to write my book. I just interviewed people smarter than me. And then I turned it into a book. And each time I did this, by the way, I nearly have, I was going to say limited assets. It's not true. Like, this is literally leverageable assets. And maybe this is a derivative of the 64 pieces of content by Gary Vee. I'm not quite sure. I don't follow him as much as I could, but the idea is leverageable. And I remember originally reading and hearing about this by somebody who brought it up to me as a function, as a result of Peng Joon talking about it. Leverageable content strategy. I'm not really sure, but you can see time and time again, like, these are just the text versions of my interviews. This guy's an actual dentist. We did an interview. He shared with me the challenge that dentists had, so I created an offer for dentists. Look, that's Shane talking about real estate. Now I know how to have a conversation with real estate agencies and real estate agents, and then I just send him and I get a referral fee. Like, you can see it time and time again. What's even cooler is I ended up using what's called the 2-step for everybody in here. Like, you all have been on the receiving end of this. I created a 2-step post. I said, hey, we just did an interview with Danny Velez. Here's the expert secrets. I'm going to see if I can bring it up right now. Here we go. I then put up what's called the 2-step. I said, hey, if you're interested in getting the show notes from the Danny Velez soap opera sequence, it's all right here. This was a dictation of the interview. Y'all should be doing this, because with a single 60-minute interview, I have taken care of about 90% of all of this. Now I've got my book, I've got my blog, we've got SEO, we've got ads. I can put this stuff on radio or podcast. I have a screenshot. Hell, we can even turn it into a newspaper article if you wanted to. All because of a 60-minute interview. Now, I'm sure some people are saying, like, but what does that 60-minute interview look like? Like, what are you supposed to say? How are you supposed to say all that fun stuff? It's not as hard as you think. This is how you do your 60-minute interview. Hey, I'm going to start a podcast and interview show highlighting successful people in X industry: carpet cleaners, dentists, bike shop owners, small business owners, whatever. If you're up for it, it should and could give you some awesome publicity. share some blank, and I'll even turn it into letterbox videos you can use for any PR and marketing. Interested? That's it. That's all you have to say. Now, that's what I said in the beginning when you look at like the interview with Andrew Page and Jamie Eldridge. There was the infant version of this, but that's all you got to do. And so if I really wanted to develop content and assets for dental ads, or for my content and assets to build KLT and make people realize I'm not going to screw them over, I'm not a fly-by-night organization, I'm not that agency, right? I would go up to dentists that do marketing. Hey, are you a dentist that do your marketing? Hey, I'm starting a podcast highlighting successful people in the dental industry. If you're up for it, it should and give you some awesome publicity, share some interesting tidbits, and even turn letterbox videos you can use for your PR marketing. Are you interested? Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Great. Just have to ask 5, 10, 15 people. Let's say half of them say no or ghost you. You've still got 2, 3, or even 4 weeks worth of interviews. And now you've got this setup, and then you can pay or do it yourself. You can take that 60-minute interview, run it on your page. You can chop them up and do letterbox videos. You can put it on YouTube. I mean, you can see it again and again and again. And the coolest part, by the way, is like, if you're interviewing enough dentists, you'll learn what they hate about Facebook ad agencies. And then all of a sudden you launch an agency that does what they want with all the stuff that they hate. More importantly, you've learned something directly from them, which is probably their tribal language. So you don't come off as that agency, right? I mean, you can even like probably start a dentist group where you're just like talking about dentist ads. That's it. You can even give the letterbox videos to your interviewee as a thank you. You can even, let's do this right here, transcribe or turn it into a book and then give it to the interviewer. I mean, you can see again and again and again. And what's really interesting, by the way, is that I've been doing this. Let's see if I can't show you this stuff, but like I've been doing this since day one in this group. And this is the fundamental core reason why a group of only 40,000 people has engagement rates and value drops and value bombs bigger than groups with 103,000 people. And I know because I've been in groups with 103,000 people, and everybody's trying to screw each other or PM or DM, and everybody's just waiting for the person to come on board and sell them a thing. And everybody's saying, oh, what else is there? And your engagement disappears and people are underserved. Guys, like my group is fucking awesome because of this right here. I think you guys can do the same, and you can best serve and best fit your target clients and customers simply by starting with this strategy. And within what, like 5 interviews, you've got what, a 15-page lead magnet that you can then use to run it as ads. And you can use that to collect name, number, and email from your target dream audience. And they're not going to feel like you're scammy or spammer talking about the same thing again. It's something unique and something different. It's because of this strategy right here. And I don't know if it's fair to say it's the Gary Vee strategy or the Peng Joon strategy or the content replication strategy, whatever it is. It's because of this. And now I don't have to earn gray hairs trying to keep up with modern day times. Instead, I'm just more than happy and willing to share the spotlight with somebody smarter than me. And now you guys don't have to rely on me for expertise. Instead, you can rely on the tribe and the community, the culture, which is 10 million, a billion times more powerful. It's because of this. So if you want to build something that matters and something that you can have an honest, knowledge-driven relationship with, and ultimately like build a better skill set, just start doing something like this. You could talk to dentists that do their marketing. You could talk to carpet cleaners. You could talk to bike shops, car washes, anything. And if you want even more fun, you can talk to dentists that do implants. And there you go, again and again and again. And it doesn't really matter if you pick a niche or not, because now your lead magnet is really just like small business owners talk about marketing. And now you've got a podcast, right? And I've got lead magnets, right? And books. I'm trying to figure out where my book is actually. Like it's somewhere on this shelf, and I don't even know where it is. You probably all see my gray hairs. Like I've got a printout of, let's see if we can find it. It's somewhere, I don't know where it is, but a printout of my book. I just haven't like pushed it over the edge yet. Like we're doing a launch in about a month and a half. But you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Like you can just start interviewing people really darn fast. No obligation. You don't need a group. They're just talking shop with you. You're learning. I interviewed the senior vice president of Ultra Marketing. Ultra, the company that does Ultra, I interviewed the senior vice president. All I did was ask. And I think you guys can do the same again and again and again and again. And I really hope that this 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute lesson has really changed the way you approach prospecting or selling or fulfillment, and really makes you realize that you can literally be massively successful if you just actively try to not screw people over. Just don't screw people over, right? And the way people will learn about you, if you're that person where you're trying not to screw people over, and if you're interested in like connecting with a real life person that reads about you, consumes information about you, becomes interested in working with you, this is your challenge right here. Like they are looking in a different direction. They're never looking at you. They've got their own method and manner and communication. Like there's still financial industry experts, investment bankers that are doing $500,000 a year salary cash after taxes in their pocket. If you want to reach them, you really got to talk to the Wall Street Journal. No other way around it. Or MSNBC or CNBC or Zero Hedge, right? Or go to the conference or send them a care package or listen or go to the podcasts where they're listening. You see what I mean? Like no matter what market you're targeting, the attention is now split. That's just a function of the internet. And either you can be unsuccessful and frustrated and angry trying to hit every single one, or simply do what Apple does and get leveraged. And the easiest thing to leverage is a 60-minute interview. And what's even cooler is it builds a culture and a tribe worth being part of, like this one right here.